De Francesca. I'm a spiritual healer here in South Australia, and just wanted to do a video message. I actually had Patrick Swayze come through over the weekend, and he kept coming through his energy, and you know, it's so random. Occasionally I'll channel spirit and people come through and have messages for loved ones. But the funny thing was that I thought, okay, it just felt his energy was quite close. I knew someone was coming through, and then I picked up my phone, and there was an invitation to a Dirty Dancing screening in the new year, and then I checked my iPad, and then there was something else about a tribute to Patrick Swayze, and it was sort of all within an hour. There was all these messages and verification coming through, and I thought, okay. I thought, all right, Spirit obviously wants to have a chat about a message that he obviously wants to portray. So I went to my oracle cards and I thought, okay, you know, what do I need to do with this? And it came up with, believe in yourself, you can do it. But it's actually the person that you can see is actually jumping, and it reminded me of Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing when he jumps off the stage. And so it was interesting that it's actually this figurine, but then it was saying believe. So I said, okay, you know, what do we need to do? And the other thing in that pack, which is the Talking to Heaven oracle card, that he wanted to say is we've been together in dreams. Now this I feel is more for his family, maybe fans that have been thinking about him. I'm not sure if there's an anniversary or something coming up, but there's something about something coming through in his dreams. There were some other messages coming through, so I thought, all right, what do we want to know? And so first he said, print a picture of me. And it was interesting because I was thinking about his different movies, and obviously Dirty Dancing kept coming up. And even all week I thought, oh, I must get around to doing this video. And this morning there I am driving along, and on my Spotify account was, you know, a lot of the songs that came from his movies. I thought, okay, you know, I get it, you know, and just very random songs, which I actually didn't think was in my Spotify account. So again, just trusting that was happening, and I could feel a really heaviness today, and I thought, oh no, I've been sitting on this for a couple of days, I really do need to do something about it. So the other day I was printing off a picture, and when I was thinking about Patrick Swayze, I actually thought about the different movies he was in. But every time I thought about Ghost, even now, I'm getting goosebumps going from head to toe. And when I looked at a picture, I went through his images, wanting to have a picture, and I kept coming back to this one picture, which actually happens to be black and white, but I kept coming back. So then I clicked on it, and I read underneath, and it was actually from Ghost the movie, and he's saying, that's the one I want to show, the one from Ghost the movie. So I thought, okay, obviously that's the one you want us to show up and represent for yourself. The other thing that came up was I thought, all right, we need to maybe ask some questions, you know, what do you want us to know? And he actually said, believe in yourself. He wants the universe of where we are at the moment for everyone to start really believing themselves. And what was the card? Believe in yourself. So it was interesting, he's coming through. And when I actually tuned in onto his energy, it was almost like before I could get to his energy, there was like an aura of smoke around him. And it was like I had to actually maneuver through the smoke to actually almost connect with his, it was more like his energy, because I could feel his spirit, but there was actually this aura of smoke. And when I was telling my husband about it, he said, oh yeah, he was a really heavy smoker. He was smoking more than 60 cigarettes a day. So it just goes to show, you know, it was interesting that he's still maybe working through the cravings of the cigarettes, or maybe he's needing to look at why he smoked in this lifetime. But there was lots and lots of ash that was around him at the time. He wants to talk about his accomplishments, obviously, you know, of where he was in his life. You know, he obviously wants to talk about his wife and, you know, riding horses. That kept coming up. He kept showing me riding horses, and we know that he owned a ranch. So again, you know, his energy, he's almost reflecting back on that time of, you know, what he was doing on earth. He's saying that he came into this earth to work on some big lessons. A lot of them were about accomplishment. He needed to learn what accomplishment was in this lifetime. So there was something about him needing to learn what he needed to achieve. And now he's on the other side. He's wanting us to achieve. He's wanting us to believe in ourselves, believing in ourselves, in humanity, and achieving our goals. Going for it, he keeps saying. Go for it. He does want to talk about past lives. He felt very much an old soul. I'm always getting him connected to maybe Native Indian, being within a tribe. Almost feels that he was maybe not head of the tribe, but maybe like the brother to the head person of that particular village, and bringing people together. So he was able to orchestrate peace within the village. He was very much about that in his past life. So he's got a very old soul, many past lives. He hasn't reincarnated again. He's obviously crossed over, but he hasn't. He will eventually, but not yet. He's still working through his life lessons, and he's again this feeling of overseeing all of us to accomplish our dreams. To put yourself out there. And what was he? He was on the screen, wasn't he? But he was also very private. And so for him, there was a balance of being quite private and being on a star. And I believe he actually did get a star in Hollywood. So for him, it was also finding balance about where, and the message for us is where we need to be, where our balance needs to be, having time to retreat, to go within and listen to our guidance versus, putting ourselves out there and having accomplishments, achieving and being connected to one another and believing in self. And he's also, again, he keeps bringing up family, connecting with family, finding people that will encourage you. That's the other thing he's been very strong about. There's something about him acknowledging that you need to surround yourself with people that will encourage you, because they will want you to do well. He's saying, I don't know if there's an incident with him, that there was someone that he aligned himself up to, and it wasn't the best relationship, maybe business or friendship, and it was almost like jealous of their success, of his success, and they couldn't handle it, and it was almost like parting of ways. So that's come up with him. And so what he's almost saying is, find people that will encourage you. If the people around you that you have currently are not encouraging you, or are going behind your back and speaking ill of you, or aren't being in true kindness, you actually can't be around those people. You actually can't be around those people. You actually need to be able to go forward in life, find people that believe in you, most of all believe in yourself. Because when we don't believe in ourselves, we attract people that, he's laughing, he's saying, Paula, you're coming from spirit here about, the lessons of attracting. We attract the people where we need the lessons. And he's saying, I wish I knew that. He said, I've got that now. He said, I've crossed over and I've got the lesson now that if we don't honor ourselves, we attract people in our lives that will put us down, that might, bag us behind our back. He said, in real life, I actually didn't see that. But when I crossed over, I'm now getting the lesson. And he said, Paula, your spirit's actually talking about that we attract people in our lives that mirror what we need to work on. So when we have self-doubt, it's going to show up. You go out there and you'll get criticized. So that's a really big lesson that he's just starting to learn. He didn't understand and how to manage the criticism. But what it did was he was working on his flaws, or what he saw were flaws. But what he's now learning to do was saying, you know what? I did my best, and on this side in spirit, I am perfect. I am the divine. I am enough. So he's not needing to have these mirrors anymore. So this is why I think he's saying, let's have another lifetime where I need to go forward, and next time I'm going to be a lot more secure in myself. So, even though he may have come across as being quite secure, it feels that deep down he couldn't cope with criticism. There was something about not being able to cope with criticism. And with pancreas and liver and issues that he manifested in the body through cancer, as well as obviously the ash, there must be something about criticism. I'm getting the pancreas and the criticism. There's something about how he could not cope with the criticism of the external. And it came from because he didn't feel strong enough within himself and believe, again, belief has come up, believe in himself enough to trust in himself to go forward. And that way he didn't attract the criticism. Or maybe what was happening is that he would get 4 points that were encouraging and there would be 1 negative, and he almost would go to that negative instead of highlighting the 4 points. But again, no, it's still coming through as when you're comfortable in yourself, you're not going to attract or get caught up in the people criticizing yourself if you feel comfortable in self. So that's a massive, massive lesson that he's trying to show to us, to really look at what is being triggered. You know, do you go outside and get criticized about your weight? Okay, what are you doing? Are you not loving your body and not respecting your body enough? Because when you do, you won't get the criticism out there. And this is what he's nodding. He's going, yes, Paula, that's exactly right. That's exactly what we need to reaffirm. I'm going to go life purpose of what was going on in his life. And this is saying you are safe and supported while you change your career. But it's not just about career. This is about that your thought pattern is changing now. That it's okay to start loving yourself and not beating yourself up if you do something wrong, or if you don't get something quite right, or if you're still maneuvering through things. You can't hold yourself and rethink it over and over again. You've actually just got to say, okay, thanks for the lesson, and keep going forward. So that's really, really important. He keeps talking about, and it's interesting, change your career. You know, he's not acting on the other side, but what did he do? He was dancing, he was singing, there was acting. So there was change. You know, he had his ranch as well. So he had lots of change in how he, but again, he keeps saying, but my criticism is what made me sick. He said the self-criticism, the thoughts in his head that he would criticize himself, and what he allowed into his space. You know, people that would maybe not criticize him, but would not be genuine. He's saying surround yourself with genuine people in this lifetime. We need to surround ourselves with genuine people. So find the people that resonate with you. And they're not the ones who's saying that you'll come together and have a gossip session about someone else. It's not about that at all. It's about finding people that are going to encourage you. So if you need the courage to step forward, trust that you are meant to be on your life path and step forward. But also trust that the people around you are the ones that are going to be kind and have got your back as well. So you don't need to do this alone. It's interesting, he keeps talking about finding his tribe, finding his people. So you've got the past life where he was in a village, you know, so he had a surrounding, he was part of this village. So again, surrounded by people. So there's something about, in this lifetime, he found it very difficult to find his tribe. So I'm sure he had his family and his wife, but it was almost like maybe in his career that maybe people weren't as genuine as he expected, or he expected people to be very genuine and they disappointed him because he wasn't in the right tribe, and he was craving the right people around him. It's funny, even in spirit, he's got a lot of people around him. He actually resonates with people. He needs people around him to almost feel supported. And he said, Paula, that's one of my lessons that I'm working on too, that I can trust that I am supported in self, that I maybe don't need to keep looking outside of myself, but I can go within. So again, that must be another lesson for us to understand that we are very strong. We're all connected anyway, but to actually be very strong within ourselves, know that we're protected, which is again this protection, so we can be ourselves. Be protected. We are protected so we can be ourselves. So be yourself, be genuine, be kind, and be honest with yourself and follow your life path and know that you're always protected. So that was just a little message, and obviously a lesson for us that came through, and that was I knew that he wanted to tell us something. There was a huge lesson that he wanted to share, and it was really interesting that it was all about believing in self, protecting ourselves, and about being selective of who we allow into our space, and only allowing people that have got our back, that are kind. We have the right to say, I don't want to be around you if you gossip or if you're not genuine. Even in work situations, and, obviously he had to go and work on movies and that. But when you shift and you believe, you start moving and being with people that actually are on the same page as you, that are kind, but also understanding that each person does have their own lessons to go through, and we have a compassion for that, but also holding our space so we don't allow people to offload all their anger onto us. That's their stuff. We respect that. I've got my stuff, and I need to respect that as well. So again, I'm Paula De Francesca. I'm a spiritual healing here in South Australia. If you ever want to look at your past lives or where you need to be on your life path, please contact me through my website, www.helpingparents.com.au, through my Facebook with Paula De Francesca or Helping Parents. Feel free to contact me. And just thank you to Spirit, thank you for Patrick Swayze for bringing through this wonderful message of believing and knowing that we're protected, and knowing that he is connecting with people in dreams. And maybe when you do get a vision or a thought or a song, or there's like a meaning at a different level, that maybe it is really for you, if it's about kindness and putting one foot in front of the other. But definitely this believe in yourself, you can do it. Look at him jumping off the stage. You can do this, but do it in kindness, and surround yourself with people that are coming from a place of kindness and that will have your back at all times. So again, many healing blessings, and I'm Paula De Francesca.